In this video, I'll share the 2 common and 1 not so common ways of knocking your mortgage out quickly. Stick to the end and I'll share with you a strategy of how to cut your mortgage payment in half without refinancing. And usually it can be done in 24 to 36 months or sooner. Let's get started. Let me ask you something. When you signed your mortgage papers, did you actually look at how much interest you're going to pay over 30 years? Most people don't. They focus only on the monthly payment. Can I afford $2,400 a month? Great, sign here. But if you've got a $300,000 mortgage at 6%, you're not just paying back $300,000, you're going to pay back almost $348,000 in interest alone. That's over $648,000 total. Think about that for a second. You are essentially buying your house twice. Hey, I'm Adam Carroll, founder of the Shred Method. I've spent years helping homeowners take control of their mortgages, paying them down or off in record time, and using strategies like these to start building real wealth. So in this video, I'm going to show you 3 different ways to pay off your mortgage early, and we're going to compare them side by side so you can see exactly how much time and money each one saves you. Because once you understand how mortgage interest actually works, you'll never look at your monthly payment the same way again. The foundation, how mortgage interest really works. So before we jump into the 3 methods, you need to understand one fundamental thing about how your mortgage payment works. Every month when you make that payment, it's split into 2 parts, principal and interest. Principal is the actual money you borrowed getting paid back, the $300,000 or whatever your loan amount is. Interest is what the bank charges you for the privilege of borrowing that money. Now, in the early years of your mortgage, the split between these 2 is shocking. And I mean absolutely shocking. Let me show you an example. Let's say you've got a $250,000 mortgage at 6% interest. In month 1, your payment is $1,499. That sounds reasonable, right? But of that $1,499, only $249 goes towards paying down your actual loan. The other $1,250 is pure interest going straight to the lender. You are essentially renting your own money from the bank at a premium. And this continues for years and years and years. In fact, it takes you almost 18 years before more of your payment goes to principal than to interest. 18 years. And 22 years before half of your mortgage balance is paid off. Think about that. 22 years before you've paid half. Now, why am I telling you this? Because the key to paying off your mortgage early, and I mean this, is the absolute cornerstone of everything I'm about to show you, is reducing that principal balance faster. Because every dollar of principal you pay down early means less interest the bank is going to charge you next month and the month after that and the month after that. It compounds in your favor instead of theirs. And here's why. The interest charged on your mortgage is based on the balance of the loan on the last day of the previous month. So the 3 methods I'm going to show you are all just different ways of attacking that principal balance. Some are more aggressive than others. Some require more discipline, but they all work the same on this same principle. So, all right, let's get into them. Method number 1 extra payment per year. The first method is straight up the simplest one. And honestly, it's the easiest one to start with because it doesn't require you to change your entire budget or your banking system. It's this: make 1 extra mortgage payment per year. That's it, just 1. And now you might be thinking, Adam, how much difference can 1 payment really make? Well, it can make a massive difference. Let me show you the math. We'll use that same $250,000 mortgage at 6%. Under the normal 30-year schedule, you'd pay $289,595 in total interest by the time you're done. Almost 290 grand just in interest. But if you make just 1 extra payment per year, and you can break this down into smaller chunks if you want, like an extra $125 per month on top of your regular payment, you'll end up paying off that mortgage in 24.5 years instead of 30. So you just shaved off 5.5 years, over 5 full years of payments that you knock out by 1 extra payment per year. And the interest that you'll pay will drop to around $232,000. So that's an almost $58,000 you're keeping in your pocket instead of sending it to the lender. Now, how do you actually implement this? You've got some options. Some people will take their tax refund every year and throw the whole thing at that mortgage. Done, 1 extra payment. Others might divide their monthly payment by 12 and add that amount to each monthly payment. So instead of paying $1,499, you'd pay $1,624 in this example. You barely notice the difference month to month, but by the end of the year, you've made 13 payments instead of 12. Some people use bonuses from work, could be birthday money from grandma, whatever. The point is, you're just making sure that over the course of 12 months, you've made 13 full payments. It's simple, it works, and it doesn't require you to restructure your entire financial life. So this is a start. Get comfortable with the idea of attacking your principal, and then you can get more aggressive from there. Method number 2, biweekly payments. All right, method number 2 is biweekly payments. This is a step up in terms of frequency, but a lot of people love it because it aligns with how they get paid anyway. The concept is simple. Instead of making one monthly payment, you split your monthly payment in half and pay that amount every 2 weeks. So if your monthly payment is $1,499, you'd pay $749.50 every 2 weeks. Now you might be thinking, wait, isn't that the same thing? And the answer is not quite. And this is where the magic happens. There are 52 weeks in a year, which means there are 26 two-week periods. If you're paying half of your mortgage every 2 weeks, that's 26 half payments per year. 26 half payments equals 13 full payments. You just made one extra payment per year without even trying. So using our $250,000 mortgage example at 6%, bi-weekly payments would pay off your loan in 24.8 years. That's 5.2 years early, and you'd save about $54,000 in interest over the life of the loan. Now, the reason people like this method is because it's largely automatic. Once you set it up, you don't have to think about it. It just happens. But, and this is important, you need to make sure your mortgage servicer is actually applying those payments correctly. You see, some banks will hold your biweekly payment until they receive the second one, and then they'll apply them as one monthly payment, which sort of defeats the entire purpose. You want them applying each payment immediately when they receive it, so your principal balance drops every 2 weeks, not once a month. Here's the way to do that. Call your servicer, ask them specifically how they handle bi-weekly payments, and if they can't do it right, you might need to manually make that 13th payment yourself using method number 1. The other thing to watch out for is some companies charge you a fee to set up bi-weekly payments. Do not pay that, please. It's not worth it when you can just replicate the same result by making an extra payment annually on your own. So that's method number 2, bi-weekly payments. It's automatic, it's effective, and if you get paid every 2 weeks anyway, it just flat out makes sense. Method number 3, the shred method. Now we get to method number 3, which is the one I developed and the one I'm most passionate about. It's called the shred method. This is completely different from the first 2 methods, and it requires more, let's call it active participation. But when people implement it correctly, the results are absolutely transformational. Let me explain how this works. The shred method is based on a concept called velocity banking. The idea is to use a line of credit, usually a home equity line of credit or a HELOC, to pay down chunks of your mortgage principal and then rapidly pay off that HELOC using your income. Think of it like this. Instead of letting your income sit in a checking account doing nothing and then trickling it out to bills and expenses, you are weaponizing every dollar to attack your mortgage debt. And let me walk you through a very simplified example. Again, let's say you have that $250,000 mortgage at 6%. You open a HELOC for, let's say, a limit of $15,000 and it is at 7%. By the way, it could be at 8% or 9%. This still works. On day 1, you take a specified amount from that HELOC and make a lump sum payment against your mortgage principal. We have a software algorithm that does all the math for you. But for this example, let's just say the system tells you to send $8,000 from the HELOC to your mortgage. Now your mortgage balance is $242,000 instead of $250,000, but your HELOC balance is $8,000. Now you might think, Adam, I just moved the debt from one place to another. What's the point? And this place that I moved it to has a higher interest rate. Won't that come back to bite me? The point is the interest rate differential isn't relevant. And the reason it isn't relevant is we're taking advantage of the payment timing, the payment structure, and most importantly, the velocity of paydown, the speed at which the money is running through your system. So your mortgage is a 30-year amortized loan where most of your payment goes to interest in the early years. We've already talked about that. Your HELOC is a revolving line of credit where every payment goes straight to principal. Now, you deposit every dollar of your income directly into that HELOC. Your paycheck goes in, your spouse's paycheck goes in, everything. This immediately reduces the HELOC balance, which reduces the daily interest accruing on it. So let's suppose you make $5,000 combined income. That means you carried $8,000 for a handful of days. That $5,000 drops in and now your balance goes down to $3,000. The carrying cost on your HELOC at $8,000 was $1.53 per day, and it's 58 cents a day at $3,000 on the balance. Then what happens is you pay all your monthly expenses from that same HELOC, your utilities, your groceries, gas, everything except your mortgage payment. And what you'll find is that if you're living below your means, and this is critical, your HELOC balance fluctuates between a certain amount, but it is always being leveraged to knock down the balance of that mortgage. Through the shred method, we're doing this month after month after month. Take another chunk, apply it to the mortgage, pay it back over the next 1 to 2 weeks or 1 to 2 months. You just keep cycling like this, chunk after chunk after chunk. And using the shred method aggressively, people have paid off 30-year mortgages in 7 to 9 years. We have clients that knock mortgages out in 3 or 4 years. Let that sink in. A handful of years of payments instead of 30 long years of agonizing payments that wear you down over time. The interest saved is massive. Over $200,000 often compared to the traditional payment schedule. But, and I want to be very clear about this, the shred method requires discipline. The key to this working is you have to have more money at the end of your month and not more month at the end of your money. You cannot run up credit card balances. You cannot overspend month after month. It works best if you're tracking every dollar coming in and going out. And if you're not already living below your means, this method will expose that really quickly. If you are living below your means, the speed of this will absolutely blow your mind. So for people who are disciplined, who have a somewhat stable income, and who are ready to be intentional with their money, this is the fastest way I know to eliminate mortgage debt. And I know because I've paid 3 mortgages off using the system, each one of them no more than 4 years at a time. If you work it flat out, it works. A side-by-side comparison. All right, let's put all 3 methods side by side so you can see how they stack up. We've got a $250,000 mortgage at 6% interest. Normal 30-year schedule, you're paying for 30 years. Total interest paid is $289,595. Total amount you'll pay is $539,595. Method number 1 is 1 extra payment per year. The time to pay off is 24.5 years. Total interest paid drops to around $232,000. You save 5.5 years and almost $58,000 in interest. Method number 2, biweekly payments. Time to pay off is 24.8 years. Total interest paid is around $235,000. You save 5.2 years and about $54,000 in interest. Method number 3, the shred method. Time to pay off is somewhere between 3 and 7 years, depending on how much discretionary income you have and how aggressive you want to be. Total interest paid is somewhere between $40,000 and $90,000, depending on your payoff. You will save 23 to 27 years and over $200,000 to $240,000 in interest. Now, which one should you choose? That depends entirely on where you are financially and how much active involvement you want. If you want simplicity and you're just starting to be intentional about your mortgage, start with method number 1. Make 1 extra payment per year. It's easy, it works, and you'll save yourself years of payments. If you get paid bi-weekly and you want to automate the process, method number 2 is perfect. Set it and forget it. And if you're ready to get aggressive, you've got discipline, and you want to be completely debt-free in under a decade, the shred method is your answer. So now that you made it this far, I want to share with you the strategy for cutting your mortgage payment in half without refinancing. Hundreds of shredders have done this, and they're blown away by how fast it can occur. The strategy I'm referring to is known as recasting. It happens when you've paid down a significant chunk of your mortgage, effectively accelerating the amortization table of that mortgage itself. By calling your mortgage lender, asking to speak to the recast department, you can ask for a recast of your mortgage. And what will happen is they'll calculate what the updated payment will be, and typically can have that in place by the very next month. So as an example, we've seen shredders take their mortgage payments from a couple $1,000s a month or more down to under $1,000 in 12 to 24 months, 36 months on the very long end. So if you love your home, but you hate your mortgage payment, consider using shred for a period of time and then recasting to take advantage of this strategy before it goes away. So look, your lender isn't going to tell you any of this. They want you making minimum payments for 30 years because that's how they maximize their profits. But you don't have to play that game. Every extra dollar you put toward your principal today is a dollar that's not generating interest for the bank tomorrow. It's working for you instead. And whether you choose 1 extra payment per year or you go all in with the shred method, the point is to start. and start now, because time is the most valuable asset in this equation. The earlier you start attacking that principle, the more you save. So if you want to learn more about the Shred method specifically, how to set it up, how to track your cash flow, all the details, head over to theshredmethod.com. And there you'll find a savings calculator where you can plug your numbers in. It will show you in real time what your results could be. And we will show you step by step how fast your money could move when it's working for you and not against you. And if this video, at all, helped you understand how mortgage interest really works and it gave you a clear path forward, do me a favor and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Like and subscribe so you never miss another video. My name's Adam Carroll. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.